My name is Adrian Cho, and 6 months ago I became the person Reddit warns you not to be. The guy running two full-time remote jobs at once. On paper, I'm a senior front-end engineer at HelioCare, a healthcare SaaS company that builds dashboards for clinics. Also on paper, though a different paper, I'm a product engineer at Driftcart, an e-commerce startup obsessed with frictionless checkout. Both are fully remote. Both have calendars that devour afternoons. Both say, "We trust you to manage your time." I told myself it would be temporary. I told myself I'd use the extra salary to pay off my mom's mortgage and then choose one job. But then the numbers hit my checking account for the first time, and the possibility of breathing room after years of scraping made me bold and a little stupid. The logistics were a heist movie. I color-coded two Google calendars, blue for HelioCare, green for Driftcart, and set both to busy with vague titles. Focus, one-to-one, sync. I bought a second laptop and propped it on a stand to the left of my main monitor like a wingman. I installed two sets of meeting apps, two Slack clients, two password managers. I created a private Discord server called Adrian's Brain, where I posted reminders to myself in the middle of conversations. HelioCare uses Tailwind 2. Driftcart is Chakra UI. Don't mix class names. HelioCare's PM is Melissa. Driftcart's is Jude. Don't call anyone the wrong name. I practiced switching voice registers and camera angles, so I looked a little different in each window. For a while it worked. HelioCare's mornings were quiet, with stand-up at 9:30. Driftcart didn't really spin up until 11. I coded like a fiend from 8 to noon on healthcare features, lab result filters, keyboard navigation for accessibility, then switched chairs and dropped into Driftcart's Buy Button V3 working group. At 3 p.m., when both calendars hit peak meeting density, I gambled. I joined HelioCare calls with my camera off and unstable bandwidth excuses while I answered a Driftcart thread about performance regressions. I told Driftcart I was heads down while demoing a HelioCare component on another screen with my mic off. The first close call came on a Thursday. HelioCare scheduled a product review and moved it last minute. The new time overlapped exactly with a Driftcart incident call, the kind of call where everyone must show up or risk being named in postmortem. I set one laptop on a stack of cookbooks, angled the camera to show just my shoulder, and joined both. In HelioCare, I nodded like a monk. In Driftcart, I typed fast and talked sporadically. I was two people at once until the Driftcart call leader asked me to share my screen. "Sure," I said, and shared the wrong desktop for 3 full seconds. It was my HelioCare Figma board. The HelioCare logo stared at me like a police light. I yanked the share down so hard I almost closed the meeting app. "Whoops," I said lightly. "Wrong monitor." No one commented. If they noticed, they decided not to be the person who cared. After that, I got better at compartmentalizing. I created separate desktops and practiced hotkeys like a pianist. I stopped taking both meetings in the same room, moving to the kitchen for one so the background changed. I kept a glass of water on the left for HelioCare and a coffee on the right for Driftcart so my brain knew which role it was playing by taste. I wasn't just surviving, I was performing. At HelioCare, I shipped a feature the clinicians loved and my manager, Melissa, slacked me confetti emojis. At Driftcart, I cut bundle size by 18%, and Jude called me a wizard in the team channel. Every time my bank account updated, I pictured my mom, who has folded other people's laundry for 20 years, and I thought, just a little longer. Pay the mortgage down. Then quit one. Then Driftcart announced an in-person offsite. "3 days in Austin," the email chirped. "We'll plan Q4 and drink bad margaritas." Attendance was highly encouraged. I booked the flights, then stared at my HelioCare calendar. Melissa had been hinting about a roadmap summit. 2 days later, the invite hit. HelioCare Product and Engineering Offsite. Austin, same hotel, same dates. I laughed alone in my apartment, the kind of laugh that sounds like a question. What are the odds? The odds were 1-to-1, apparently. I told myself I could do both. The hotels were across the street. I could run late, leave early, hop to a dentist. I built a schedule down to the 15-minute block. Breakfast with HelioCare at 8, sneak out at 9:30 to catch Driftcart's kickoff, double back for HelioCare's breakout, sprint to Driftcart's lunch, and so on. It felt like a sitcom plot. It was my actual career. The first morning went okay. I wore a neutral blazer so I could pin a HelioCare name tag for one session, then tuck it into my pocket and slide on Driftcart's next. I laughed at jokes twice. I took photos with two groups and prayed none of them would end up on LinkedIn that day. But by afternoon, the seams started showing. I told Melissa I was stepping out to take a call with a clinic. I told Jude I had to hop off to assemble a demo. In a hallway, I ran smack into Melissa and Jude chatting with each other and a vendor, both of them doing that networking grin. Adrian, Melissa said, this is Wes from Priam Labs. Driftcart's working with them too. Jude turned toward me, surprised. Wait, do you two know each other? I felt my mouth go dry. The vendor filled the silence helpfully. Adrian and I chatted at the Driftcart breakfast, he said. Small world. Melissa's smile thinned. Jude's eyes did a confused squint, like a program failing to parse an input. I tried to invent a sentence that could hold this. I do some consulting, I said, and wanted to bite the words back as soon as they left. Consulting violated both contracts. I watched Melissa clock that. I watched Jude do the same math. The hallway suddenly had too much air in it. That evening, I went to my room and wrote the email I'd been promising myself I'd write someday. I titled it, I Owe You the Truth, I told them both. I wrote that my mom's mortgage balance had defined my worst decisions and my best intentions. I wrote that I took 2 jobs because fear makes a person sloppy. I wrote that I was ready to pick one, that I was sorry for breaking trust, that I would accept any consequence they deem fair. I expected 2 terminations. Melissa replied first. Thank you for telling me. This violates policy, and I can't pretend it doesn't. But you've been a strong engineer and a good teammate. If you're willing to commit, HelioCare would keep you. 1 job, full focus, no side work. We'll put a formal warning on file. If you prefer to leave, we'll make your exit respectful. Jude's reply was shorter. Appreciate the honesty. We can't keep someone who splits themselves. Return your laptop by Friday. We'll pay out PTO. I sat on the bed with both emails open, the TV on mute, my suitcase half-zipped like a metaphor. I thought about the past 6 months and realized I'd been auditioning for 2 roles, forgetting the person I wanted to be off stage. I typed to Melissa, I want to stay. I want to do this right. When I told my mom, she didn't scold me. She said, you worked too much since you were a boy. Maybe now you learn to rest. She asked how much was left on the mortgage. I told her the number and the number I'd already paid. She cried because sometimes relief arrives in pieces. The next Monday, I woke up and only opened 1 Slack. The quiet surprised me. I found myself reaching for the second laptop like a phantom limb, then letting my hand fall. At 10 a.m., I brewed tea and actually tasted it. I deleted the Discord server named Adrian's Brain. I told Melissa I could take the gnarly accessibility refactor because now I had time to do it well. She smiled on Zoom in that small way managers smile when they believe in someone but have learned not to say it too loudly. A week later, my bank account looked smaller than it had for months. I noticed and then I noticed something else. My pulse didn't spike when my calendar dinged. I read an article all the way through without skimming for action items. I cooked dinner and didn't wander back to my desk between stirring and tasting. When I shut my laptop at 6:30, the evening wasn't a tunnel to sleep, but a space that belonged to me. Do I regret the double life? I regret the lying. I don't regret paying down the mortgage faster. I don't regret learning how far I can stretch before the fabric tears. I learned that 2 full-time jobs add up to something less than a life. I learned that being called a wizard in Slack feels good until you realize the person behind the tricks hasn't sat still in months. HelioCare put the warning on file. I printed it and taped it inside my closet next to my graduation photo. It's not a scarlet letter, it's a reminder. The person I want to be does hard things one at a time. The person I want to be tells the truth sooner. On my desk, there's only 1 laptop now. It looks a little lonely, like a stage after the band has packed up. But when I open it in the morning, I know exactly who I am. And at night, when I close it, I do too.